love doesn't just have to be me and this girl. Love can be me and this barbell, Like, like it doesn't have to be that. It can be a chef with his food or like an artist with their art.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of Shells and Shadows. Today, I have another dear friend of mine, Ozzie Foster. Welcome, Ozzie.
Hi, it's good to be here. It's good to be here.
It's good to have you here. And so, just for some context, how do Ozzie and I know each other? Ozzie and I met when I was a junior in high school, and he was in eighth grade. He came up to me at the gym, 24 Hour Fitness, and he said, "Hey, are you a freshman?" I was like, "No, I'm a junior." And then from there, we started, sharing workout plans and getting to know each other over COVID and whatnot. And now I'm in my senior year of college, and he's a freshman here, and we get to spend my last year of college together. So.
Yeah. Wow, it's really been a journey. I'd say like during COVID, like every single day I was hanging out with Yuta. We were working with each other, bettering ourselves, and he was exactly what I needed at the time, and I think I was exactly what he needed at the time. Especially because a lot had changed in your life, at that time, and you were looking for someone to mentor, and I needed some guidance for sure.
You were a youngin'.
I was a youngin', on God.
A lot of people talk about how COVID was just like a really terrible time. Their social lives were ruined and whatnot. And when you and I hear that, we kind of laugh.
Yeah.
COVID was like, it was a bubble of everything we needed.
Mm-hmm.
We had our routines. I mean, we were go to the gym together, bike rides, ice baths, the whole deal.
Yeah, every day.
Along with our friend Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a really good time.
Oh, I remember just like waking up early in the morning, like getting my online classes done and just like eating the whole time and just like waiting to go to the gym. And then you'd come by in your little Lexus and scoop me, and then you'd pick up Ben and we go lift, and great time. And now it's really, just to see like where we've gone like since, those days, like I guess all of our fitness journeys completely dispersed. But at one point they were all really synced up.
Definitely. So you've since then gone and made a name for yourself in the whole world of powerlifting competitively. So I'm going to ask you the one question that everyone has on their minds. What do you take, bro? Like, what kind of steroids are you
on? Test all the good stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Just a good diet and good vibes.
Good diet, good vibes.
Yeah.
What was the pivotal moment for you when you decided that you wanted to just take fitness, which had always been a hobby of yours, and make it something that you could put work towards, do competitively, and make sort of a young career out of?
So my whole life, I've always just been obsessed with fitness. As like a young kid, I would sit and watch TV with my family and be curling like 5-pound weights, or like anytime I went through a door, I'd have to do some pull-ups. And I liked running, and so I wanted to be healthy, I wanted to be fit, and I wanted to be in shape. Fourth grade, I wanted a six-pack, so I was doing ab workouts every day, and I was like looking, I was like, oh my God, I don't have abs yet. And one day I got my goal, I got some abs, but I just think it was a mixture of loving fitness and trying so many different sports and realizing that none of them were right for me. Like I tried baseball. I really liked swimming, but it's just very, very competitive, very anxiety inducing. I tried football. I was actually a lineman. I was a right tackle for 2 years, and I'm not a big guy. I'm like 5'7", maybe 5'8".
For a Jewish man, that's pretty average.
Pretty good. Like I was 150 pounds this freshman year, and sophomore year I was a lineman. I was going against huge, tall, big kids, and I didn't play much. And then I ran track. I really enjoyed that. But the thing that like I was really scared to get into powerlifting because I didn't realize that like I didn't have to be the best. I was like hesitant to go into it because I'd look at all of these young powerlifters, these young athletes, and I'd see that a kid my age can lift 3 times as much as me, or like a kid younger than me can deadlift double what I do. And it really, it made me a little scared to get into it. But I remember just, one day I was at work. I was a lifeguard. This is in 2022, summer of 2022, and I just texted everyone that was important in fitness to me. I'm gonna start competing in powerlifting, and since then, took off, and I've really loved it. I realized that I don't need to be the best, but I need to be as good as I can be.
And you're trying to qualify for nationals this
I
year,
am.
yeah?
Yeah. So
How's that going?
oh, it's going amazing, amazing. Nationals is going to be in April, and so I'm going to try and qualify in February. It's February 23rd. It's like the state meet. But something I really got to tell myself, two things. First, I can't look too far ahead because I'm really just saying, oh, I'm going to qualify for nationals. Oh, nationals this, nationals that. And I'm not saying, oh, I have state. I have this meet coming up. Because what if I don't qualify? I don't want to think about that because I should comfortably qualify, but what if something happens?
Well, you're focusing on the day to day. Okay, what needs to happen between now and then?
Exactly.
What is my routine today
Yeah.
that will prepare me for tomorrow's lift and
Yeah.
tomorrow's, fill in the blank?
Exactly. Yeah. And I'd say the other thing is I can't be too greedy. I'm getting very, very greedy. Usually my coach will give me like a range of like 10 kilograms. I can hit anything within that range. I always want to go to the top of that, even if I'm feeling like a little bad, a little tired, a little sore. I go, how can I like, I don't know, I just want the most. I've been super greedy, and I've seen it like go into my my real life outside of powerlifting. It's like greed.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that's greed. I'd challenge you on that.
Okay.
I mean, if you're trying to aim at the top of, the parameters
Yeah.
that you're given, maybe greed isn't the best word, right? Maybe
Yeah.
you can call it ambitious, but you can also call it, I mean, you probably need some humility in your field.
Absolutely.
Because the weights humble you.
They do.
The
Yep.
weights have humbled me.
Yeah.
Big time.
Oh my gosh.
Big
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
But it is humbling when you get under a bar and you think you can do it and you think you're all that. And then
you can't.
you've got spotters lifting the barbell back up off your chest
Yeah.
a minute later.
Yeah.
What happened?
No, literally.
It breaks you open a little bit. It's like, yeah, buddy, you thought you were all that.
Yeah.
But hey, back to square one.
Exactly.
Keep doing the thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I love it so much, because you can always get better. So, that's why I really took a big liking to it.
Sure. So I read a book recently, and I
Yeah.
thought of you. It's a book by Malcolm Gladwell.
Mhm.
And in it, he talks about how there's different people in our lives that are called connectors. And
Yeah.
he takes you through this exercise. He says, write down the names of like 15 of the closest people to you in your life. And then trace back who you met them from, and then who you met them from, and
Yeah.
who you met them from, and so on until you get to like a
Yeah.
root person of how you met this person. So I think back to some of my friends, and I wrote a list of people, and they all started showing a pattern. Some of them were me.
Yeah.
Some of them were kind of other people that I had met. A lot of them traced back to Ozzie Foster. I will say that. A lot of my close friends. And that's who you are. You're a connector. My mom calls you the mayor because you kind of know everyone. Everyone knows Ozzie Foster. Why do you think that is? Why do you think you are someone that's just very much a known figure in our community, both in Boulder in such a small amount of time and in Denver? What makes you driven to connect with people?
That's a good question. I think I try and have a very neutral, like, I guess, let me try and explain this. I try and be very neutral. I don't want to be like the guy, like I'm that guy, like, I think a lot of people try and be that guy. And it's realizing that I'm not that guy. I'm just, I'm Ozzie.
You're not trying to be someone that you're not.
Exactly.
You're just trying to be yourself.
I just try and be authentic. That's, yeah. And I think, authenticity does a lot and it says a lot. And, if, I don't need to like try and be friends with someone if they don't want to be friends with me, and, it's like I can accept that. And I think the other thing is, you know, as I've really kind of progressed through like my journey and learning a lot about myself and learning about others, I've really developed you know just a strong sense of self. And I think some people, especially those that are struggling with sense of self, they'll they'll text me, like, hey, I'm struggling, can you help? And I've seen this definitely recently a lot, like since Manny passed away. And I definitely want to touch on that. But
Sure, we will.
but people they've been texting me. They've been like, Ozzy, I need help. Like, can we talk? Um, and I think I just naturally kind of got put into this position of leadership. And I think, in some communities, I definitely um, have a position of leadership, even if it's like involuntary. Like, I didn't say I want to be the leader. Just sometimes it just happens that way.
Has anyone ever told you that you have an old soul?
Yeah, I think someone named Yuta Halevi told me that.
Maybe I've told you that.
Yeah.
Probably told you that. Um, Something that I've gotten before, and it's very, I don't know. With you, we were 3 years apart when we met.
Yeah.
Um, I always would say that, oh, like I never really connected to some of the kids in my grade in high school when I was at public school. But
Yeah.
for some reason, 14-year-old at the gym, motivated kid becomes one of my best friends. I really think because you are well wise beyond your years. Um, Being a freshman in college, navigating the whole world of fraternity life and academic life and all that, how do you feel that you've maybe had a challenge with finding a place for your old soul
Yeah.
in this new environment that's very much, um, you know, a young environment?
Yeah. Um, well, I know for, at least when I started to get to know you, I was very anxious about just like life and death and just anxious in general. And I was very curious about it, and that really sparked a lot of like learning for me. And that's why we had a lot of great conversations in the past just about like a spirituality. And since then I've become more comfortable, more confident in like the answers that I've chose to believe. Um, and I've kind of realized that I am in college. I'm 19 years old. This is where I am. I know where, like I know where I am, but I also can put myself out there. I can have the experiences that I'm meant to have right now. And I don't need to control anything. I just kind of need to let it go for me and let it happen to me. Unless I need to control something, like academics or lifting.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, well, I want to talk about something now that you've been going through and I've kind of been experiencing with you.
Yeah.
Um, so, for those who don't know, it was almost 3 months ago at this point. Our fraternity brother Manny took his life, and you were very close with Manny. He was in your grade. He was in your pledge class for our fraternity. Um, Tell us about Manny.
Yeah.
Tell us about him from your experience.
Nicest smile ever. I mean, he could light up a room with a smile. No matter like the time or the place, like it could be very, very late, and everyone would not be super happy, and we'd all just, he'd smile, or you just look at him, he's smiling, or you say something and he laughs. Um, he was just very energetic. And his dad definitely describes him like this a lot, and it's so true, as he's the life of the party. Like Manny he's the center of attention. And he just a great person. um I mean, I don't know what else I could say.
Yeah, well, I know you and the rest of the guys in your grade were very close with him. A bunch of you guys attended his funeral in Atlanta. What's something that I guess helped get you through that experience going there? I mean, first
Yeah.
of all, it's very incredible that the amount of guys who went, to support went. I
Mhm.
think it meant a lot to his family. What was your experience there?
Um, yeah, it was definitely very strange. It kind of felt like I'm not like this is definitely an over exaggeration, but this is how it felt. It felt like the end of the world. Like when we went out to Atlanta, I didn't really think like, oh, I have school on Monday. It just kind of felt like, oh, I'm in Atlanta and I can't see anything past this right now. Um, but what helped me a lot was I spoke, at the funeral in front of I don't know, like hundreds of people. It was really powerful to see how many people came out to support Manny.
What was your message?
Um, it was just that Manny was authentic. He didn't care what other people thought, and that's what made him so like positive and such a like a magnetic force. Like you want to be around him. Um, and I think what the purpose of me speaking and my cousin Bo, we spoke together was to represent Boulder and represent the last few months of Manny's life. And so I think one of the main reasons I spoke was so that I could be strong for Ben. Ben is Manny's dad. I wanted to be a comforting, like a source of comfort for Ben. So I remember I look over at Bo and he's starting to tear up, and I'm just telling him, we got to be strong for Ben. Um, that is the most memorable, I guess, moment from that whole weekend.
Yeah, I mean, watching it and hearing you speak was incredibly powerful. Since you've been back, and I know we've had winter break, and we're well into the first
Yeah.
semester without him here, what do you bring back with you? How do you bring it back to your guys, your brothers? How do you keep Manny alive and keep his memory alive now that you're back?
Check in on your friends. Simple as that. If someone's struggling, you talk to them. You don't make an excuse. You annoy the crap out of them, and you talk to them. If you see someone struggling, you talk to them. You bring them to the gym. You go eat with them. You go, you just go chill. That's it. I like cannot let that happen again. And if I can do anything, I want to do that thing. Um,
So how do we break out of the classic scenario? Hey, what's up, bro? How are you? I'm good. I'm good, man. How are
yeah,
you? I'm
I'm
good.
chilling.
I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
chilling. Yeah. That's bullshit.
yeah,
I mean, it really
it
is.
is.
You know how many people we walk up to on a day-to-day basis and
Yeah,
like, "Hey, how are you?" "Good. How are you?"
yeah.
You don't know what that person's going through.
You're saying words.
You're just saying words like, "Good." Cuz what are you going to say? I'm not doing so hot right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
That's not something that is, I guess, acceptable
yeah,
around here. Um, so how do you deal with that? I mean, from your
yeah.
your experience.
Well, you know, I think the a kind of a blessing for me is someone will reach out to me and they'll say I need help. That's about as I guess lucky as it gets. But other than that, it's if you're hanging out with someone, if you're in the presence of someone and, something seems off. That's like definitely an indicator, what's going on? Are you all right? Um, but then sometimes it's hidden. So it's just spending time with people and, you know, it's not like watching over them, but it's being present with them and you'll kind of see. Um, if I'm sad, I'm sad and I'll tell someone and, it helps me a lot. but some people aren't like that. So, you gotta watch over them, if that makes any sense.
It does. And it's good that people have kind of appointed you in their lives as this is my person that I'm going to go talk to. It seems like that's true of multiple people around you. It's not just one or two. I know for me, I have those people, you have those people, and we're that for one another as well.
Exactly.
I remember when you and I were calling nightly the first couple weeks after the funeral and all that. It was especially helpful because it's hard sometimes to have a real conversation with people willing to listen, especially when other people are also grieving. Yeah. So at least for me to go through that with you and be there for you as well really helped me through it. Yeah.
Well, it's super helpful when you're on the same side of the road, Yeah. You're not passing by. You're going the same way. You're going uphill, with that other person. You link arms, you just go. And I think that's what we did. I think that's what a lot of people, in our fraternity did in the Jewish community in Boulder. We linked arms, we got together, we helped each other, and we uplifted each other. And, that's why I love the Jewish community here in Boulder so much. I mean, I have never experienced a community like this ever. Going to Boulder, I was like, there's not going to be a lot of Jews here. Like, it's kind of going to be like Denver. And, my Jewish club at high school, there's a couple Jews, and then everyone else just came for, like, the free pizza. But now it's like Chabad is overflowing. Like, they don't have enough spots at Shabbat dinner. And it's really extraordinary to see that. And it's really powerful to be, a part of that. And I think I got extremely lucky with that.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Do you see a way in that your connection to Judaism and spirituality specifically changed through this community, through experiencing grief, through just growing up? How has that changed for you?
Well, I've realized that, you look at some religions, like, I look at Christianity. That's like the base religion for me to, like, see. And I see how they pray, how they, how they're faithful, what they do day to day. And then I kind of see Judaism, and I used to think to myself, oh, I'm not doing enough. Like, this person's going to church, and they're reading their Bible every day. And, I kind of realized that Judaism isn't, it's not necessarily, I have to go to synagogue every Friday. I don't need to, keep kosher every single day. It's doing what I can. It's being part of this community. It's wrapping tefillin every day. It's having a deep, meaningful prayer rather than, I really think for me personally, my experience with Judaism is quality over quantity. I'd rather not wrap tefillin than rush through it and just be kind of like mad that I'm wasting my time. I'd rather just not do it. But, when I actually set aside time every day and I realize, like, I have time to do this, it doesn't need to be a lot, and I close my eyes and I think and I pray. That is what, I've grown to see a lot. I guess I've grown to see Judaism in a new light being here in Boulder.
I like what you said because it's true that one mitzvah, doing something that's positive, doing some sort of good deed that's Jewish, doesn't cancel out when you don't do something else. Yeah. I mean, just by doing one action, like wrapping tefillin and that being your thing, you may not do anything else, but by designating that as your thing, it's huge. It's everything because you're saying, okay, I'm gonna know where I'm at. I'm gonna ask God, Hashem, to meet me where I'm at. Right? I may not be able to do everything right now, but I can do something, and that's everything. I have people that have said to me, "Oh, well, I'm not really a good Jew." Yeah. That's just nonsense to me.
It is.
There's no such thing as a bad Jew. divinely perfect as you are, you may not do everything. You may not fulfill every mitzvah. And that's okay. Hashem meets you where you're at.
Yeah.
And that's the lie. It's like, well, I know I feel guilty because I don't do X, Y, and Z, so I'm not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, do what you feel comfortable doing, right?
Yeah.
Start somewhere. It's a shame because without that, you've completely shut
Yeah.
yourself off to
Yeah.
an immense well of connection,
Exactly.
an immense well of just beauty that can be experienced
Yeah.
just by going to a simple Shabbat dinner.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I struggled with a lot is authenticity. I remember this summer I asked you a lot. I was like, Yuta, how do I pray for other people? It's like, how do I, you know, I don't want to force it. I want to pray for other people, but I don't want to force it. And so I prayed to pray for other people, and I wanted to be able to feel like the need, like, oh, I'm doing something, because I want to do it, not because I feel like I have to do it. And so, that's why if I'm not feeling Shabbat, like I'm not going to go to services this week, I won't. But if I can, I will. And it's made my relationship with the religion so much stronger and so much healthier. Instead of, feeling guilty because I didn't go, I'm happy that I went because I wanted to go.
And praying for other people, I remember we had that conversation.
Yeah.
It's very powerful. I remember you said to me, I don't feel almost worthy. I'm going to use the word worthy. You said, I don't feel worthy of asking for things in my life from God. There's plenty of other people who are struggling and need prayers. Who am I to come and ask for something from God? And while that's very humble, we need basic things in our life to sustain us and fuel our ability to then go and help other people. And we had this conversation. It was very beautiful. It comes back to why do we ask for our needs on Rosh Hashanah for the year, for the upcoming Jewish year? It's because we know that in order for us to actually do good in this world, we need basic things like shelter, like just a livelihood, food, water, safety, security. Yeah. Without that, we can't give in the way that we're meant to. Yeah. And I think that it seems like it kind of changed your perspective.
Absolutely. I realize I'm not praying for a new car. Like,
sure,
I'm praying for things to help uplift my life. And, once I have a life, full of positive energy and, just happiness, I can really start to push that out onto others, I can help influence or motivate people in a positive way if I, have the things that I need in my life. And so, it's been effortless for me to pray for other people, and it feels great. But that's, it's because I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with what I have. I'm not desiring anything I don't need, and I know that the things that, I do need, or the things that I really, really want or need, they'll come to me. I just have to be faithful. I have to be patient. Like I ask for patience. I ask for strength. I'm told to wait, or I'm told to go through something hard. And I see myself growing.
And sometimes you have to wait.
Yes.
Sometimes you run into a season of silence.
Mm-hmm.
a good phrase that we've talked about
right in front
many
of
times.
Qdoba, just chilling in a Qdoba parking lot. You're showing me like this like Christian guy. He's like talking about seasons of silence.
It's from Joel Osteen. I used to listen to his podcast kind of when I was investigating spirituality as a general whole, and seasons of silence, a time where the things you're praying for may not show up in manifest form in your life, but there's a reason for it. Yeah. Maybe this is a time like in winter when life goes underground, and come springtime it will be revealed again, in the sprouting of new plants and life. And offspring and
Mm-hmm.
abundance of warmth and rain and whatnot. But
Oh
the
my.
winter is cold. The winter looks dead,
Yeah.
but winter is just preparation for that rebirth, regeneration in the spring.
You are a poet. That was very beautiful. Very
Well,
beautiful.
thank you, but no, it's true.
It is true.
It's it's our lived experience.
Exactly.
You and I have you've come to me and been like, dude, like when will it happen?
Yeah.
When will it happen? So
Yeah.
many things that I
Yeah.
can think of that you've
Oh
come to
yeah.
me like,
Oh
when
yeah.
will it happen? Like, young Foster, patience. As Jesse would
Yeah.
say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right after he says, wait for you delay." um. Yeah. I mean, and then it does come and feels great. Feels great. I mean, like I remember um something I don't know if I addressed to you completely was, I wanted I wanted to be better at powerlifting. I wanted to be stronger. I wanted to reach a new level. And, there was a period where I just wasn't progressing, and then I like met a new coach, and she absolutely helped me. I went to a new gym, new environment. Um and I grew so much. I grew so much, and it was because, I just had faith. I waited, and my time came, and then I started cooking and started eating. It's great.
That is great. Yeah, looking back, it you can look back and see that all of the seasons of silence that you may have had in your life where nothing was revealing itself, that was just a
Yeah.
necessary stepping stone on the way to what you have now.
Yeah.
And you actually needed that in order to find what you have now.
Yeah.
But we want it now, we want it here, and that's normal, right? Because we
Yeah.
can't live in the future. I like this quote. It's life must be lived forward, but understood backwards. Meaning we have to live life looking ahead. What am I
Yeah.
doing next today? How do I progress forward now? But sometimes we only understand why. Why did this all happen? Why did this need to happen for me to get to
Mhm.
where I am? By looking backwards and seeing, oh, that was just a stepping
Yeah.
stone along the
Yeah.
way.
I will say, like, a lot of times in my life where I've been just like kind of sad, or just, I felt deprived of something, I look back and, I look on that time and I'm like, wow, that I needed that. Like, I actually was happy then. I took it for granted. I wasn't present. Um, and I think, that's where the presence becomes a big thing, is being present isn't like, you know, to really enjoy a moment, you don't need to be, you're going to be present. When you keep wishing to go back in time or forward in time or something else, that's when like the presence doesn't get you. It's easy to be present in a moment that's great, hard to be present in a moment that's bad. And, I think in the future, I'm going to really try and be more present in moments where, you know, God's testing me.
Amen. I love that for you. Another thing that comes to mind as well when we're talking about things that we wait for as young men is love.
Yeah.
Like high school, everyone's fallen in love and it's beautiful and you want
Yeah.
it for yourself. And it's like, well, when will it come for me? I know you and I,
Yeah.
endless conversations about, you know, who's my person? When's the right time? There's so many variables. Um, what has love taught you about patience? And what has being patient taught you about approaching love?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think a big thing is you can't force anything. The time will come when it's like meant to come. Um, but I think for me, the biggest thing is you have to be happy first. No one else is gonna make you happy other than yourself. But if you can be happy and you can be with someone, then you can make them happy. they'll make you happy. Like it's just exponential. It's great. Um, and I think like there's a time for everyone and there's a place for everyone, and it's having that faith that it'll come. It'll come. It's not like forcing it. It's not going out there and really pushing because that just leaves you like I don't know, it just leaves you uneasy, unsettled. I think truly that like God has a person for everyone. That person will come at some point. It's just being faithful that like that point will come, and being patient and waiting. It's not like going out and trying. I mean, sure, sometimes that can work, but I think the best thing that could happen is just walking down the street, drop your book. Someone picks up your book, maybe that could happen. Um, and you like accidentally touch hands and it's really cute.
And it turns out to be
Turns
your
out
wife.
exactly. Yeah, that would be great. But not everything's like that, but it's just being faithful that some point something like that might happen.
Well, it's also doing your part, if any, with anything in life,
Yeah.
but especially with preparing to be with someone that
Yeah.
you're gonna give yourself to
Yeah.
fully. You can't give what you yourself don't have, like you
Exactly.
said.
Yeah.
So if you're not fully secure, not you don't have to be a perfect person, but if you're not secure in yourself, if you're not clear on your life direction to some capacity, um, you can't really give that sort of security and
Yeah.
give that love to someone else.
Yeah.
You don't have to know what your life plan is. Obviously,
Exactly. Yeah.
in some ways, you're supposed to figure that out with someone else.
Exactly. Yeah.
And build a life. But no one's gonna fill a hole in your heart except for you.
Yeah.
And
So
self-love.
I mean, I think more people need to realize that no one else is gonna fill a hole in your heart except you. Once you can fill that hole in your heart, then you have a whole heart. Oh my God, that was so cute. I didn't even mean to like say that, but I mean like truly like, you know, if you're not whole yourself, what makes you think that someone else is gonna be, you know, you? No one else is gonna be fully you. You know.
Well, and I say this lightly, people tend to romanticize relationships, which, like, yes, relationships are
Yeah.
romantic, but you have to ask, what am I going to bring to the table?
Yes.
What do I have to offer this person? What am I going to give as, a competent young guy? And what would someone else need in return for, like, commitment?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you've asked yourself that question a lot too, and
Yeah.
filling that hole that may have been in your heart at some point with positive things like morning bike rides, seeing the sunrise over the
sunrise,
Lowry
yeah.
Dam, and
Ice bath.
ice baths, and committing yourself to,
Yeah.
your craft of lifting, and
Yeah. Mm.
that's what fills you up.
It's a big thing too, right there. Is like, I love powerlifting. Like I love lifting. I love fitness. That's still love. So love doesn't just have to be me and this girl. Love can be me and this barbell. Like, like it doesn't have to be that. It can be a chef with his food or like an artist with their art. It can be anything. It can be music. I love music. When I'm lifting and I'm listening to music, I'm very, very happy, very content. And like I just think a lot of people are stressing. I don't know what the hurry is that everyone's in. Um, just gotta find something that you love. Be happy. Be patient.
Be patient. It comes back to brotherly love as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a fraternity of brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and you got a brother that's fallen behind. He's not doing too well.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be showing it the entire time in a visible way to you, but he's struggling. Can you muster up the love that you have and give it to your brother? Pick him up,
Yeah.
carry him on your shoulder, at least emotionally speaking. Can you look out for him? Be your brother's keeper? And those are questions that you ask yourself too. And that's another type of love that you carry in your heart.
I mean, I am my brother's keeper. And you know, it's definitely you know, any connection that you have with anyone is real. And if you've gone through through some stuff with some people, you develop a really close relationship with those people. You can be very open, very raw, very vulnerable with them, which I know it's very hard for a lot of, guys to do these days, be open and be vulnerable. But I think that's the strongest thing that you can do is be vulnerable.
I want to try something with you live on the podcast.
Yeah.
For my last little segment with you.
Yeah.
I want you to close your eyes for a sec. I want you to imagine that you're at a gym and you're laying on a mat and you have a foam roller and you're rolling out your leg, doing what you got to do to end your workout. And all of a sudden, this little kid comes up to you. He's about 8th grader. He comes up to you and he says, "Hey, I need guidance. I need help. I'm learning what I'm doing here. Can you teach me? Can you help me?" So what are you going to say to him? What are you going to say to that young kid, that young Ozzie Foster, and the many others like him that may be listening that are looking for that guidance?
I still close. Okay. They're open.
They're open.
I'd say, honestly, the best thing I could say is just trust. Just trust. It'll work out, but you can't just be lazy. You have to put the work in. You have to trust the process. And don't give up. Don't quit. When it gets hard, keep going. You're gonna be so happy when it's over. And then you'll look back and you'll realize, wow, you were happy that whole time. And there's no reason to get all riled up about things that you aren't in control, you aren't in control of. So just do what you can while you can, and don't worry about the things that you can't.
Amazing. Well, Ozzie, I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was great.
While you're on air and have attention of the internet, is there anything else you want to say?
Shout out my mom and dad, Rex and Lucy. Yeah.
My brother.
Yeah.
It's good to have you on.
Love you, Ida.
Love you.